Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about habits, specifically related to Ramadan. Let's get into it. We are well underway with Ramadan at the moment, so we kind of should have found our rhythm by now and become used to the early mornings and late nights. And I think that Ramadan is such a special month for obvious reasons, but also because it's the one time of year where we all change our routine. We all change our habits, and it seems to happen almost naturally for us. Some of the things that I'm talking about are things like reading the Quran. For a lot of us, we don't actually read that much Quran throughout the year. Some of us might not even touch it throughout the year. But something about Ramadan cues us to get that Quran out and to start reading. And for a lot of people, they might even finish the Quran in Ramadan multiple times. You know, our habits change during Ramadan. And that is such an interesting thing because we could be doing whatever throughout the year, but something in our mind tells us, okay, it's Ramadan now. We need to change. We need to start doing X, Y, Z. We're now going to Taraweeh prayers. If you are somebody who didn't pray regularly, now you're focusing on praying regularly. The Ramadan effect is real. It is so real that it was actually what triggered me to wear the hijab. I told myself that it's only 30 days of Ramadan. Let me see if I can do this. I'll wear it for 30 days and then I know the reward is going to be even greater because it's Ramadan. So I'll be earning the reward for wearing it. And when Eid comes, I will decide what I'm going to do. That's the mentality that I went in with. And then the first time that I did this, it didn't quite stick afterwards. But the Ramadan after that, I did the same thing again. And then I just never took it off after that. The thing is, we can actually use Ramadan to implement good habits that we're trying to do throughout the year. Ramadan is a life hack, you guys. Ramadan is absolutely a life hack when it comes to habits. Just think of all the things you are doing right now that you actually don't do throughout the rest of the year. Now is your opportunity to use some of that momentum and carry it with you after Eid. So let's think about the things that we want to keep doing after Ramadan. As I said, a lot of us only do certain things during Ramadan, and once Eid comes, we kind of let that go, or we find it difficult to keep up with those particular acts of worship or whatever it is that you were doing. And yeah, of course there will be difficulty because we know Shaitan is back and he's trying to lead us off the path. We know we will have our own nafs to deal with as well, and we will have all this adversity and we'll have all these thoughts in our mind trying to get us to not keep up with all these good habits that we've built during Ramadan. So here are some tips of how you can combat that. Now we know during Ramadan we're maximizing our time, we're focused. For a lot of us, we do not do anything else during Ramadan. We just work, school, and worship. That's it. Like, we're not going and doing much of anything else. We are very focused during this month. It will be very difficult for you to operate in the same way outside of Ramadan. This is the beauty of Ramadan. Yes, Ramadan is supposed to be different than the rest of the year for you because you are supposed to feel the difference during Ramadan. If Ramadan feels the same as every other month of the year for you, that's something you need to reflect on because it shouldn't feel that way at all. It should feel very, very different because you're trying to maximize your worship. You're trying to do as much as you possibly can in these 30 days. Now, when you've come to Eid and you've decided that you want to keep up with some of the things that you've done during Ramadan, the first tip is to check your mindset because we know that we will be able to do all these things during Ramadan. You will not be able to do absolutely all of those things outside of Ramadan. Things will change, your priorities will change. You won't be able to put off as many things for the rest of the year as you do in Ramadan. For example, for me, like at the moment, I'm not training during Ramadan. I'm literally just either working or worshipping or trying to do just that. I'm not traveling. I'm not doing any other social activities. I'm trying to keep it as simple and concise as possible. Most of my time will either be spent at home, in the Masjid, or at my place of work. That's my mentality when it comes to Ramadan. I know I will not be able to continue this once Eid comes, because I will have other things going on. Life happens. I might travel. I might have to do other things. And I won't be able to keep up that same level of worship that I'm keeping up with right now. So my tip is to keep your mind set positive, in the sense that understand you will not be able to give your Ramadan 100 outside of Ramadan. So the idea is to take one or two things that you are doing right now and try and maintain it until the next Ramadan. For example, if you are somebody who does not read a lot of Quran and you read a lot of it during Ramadan, perhaps that is something you can start doing outside of Ramadan. So set yourself a little goal. Once fasting is over, once Eid is over, try and get yourself to read maybe 1 page or half a page of Quran every day, and set your system up so that you can make sure that you're continuing to do this. The thing about Ramadan is we already have a system in place, because we know it's Ramadan, everybody is fasting, so it's easier for us to fast. Everybody is operating on this new schedule, so it makes it easy for us to operate on that new schedule. And we have everything in our environment set up for Ramadan, which is what makes it easy. Use those same techniques outside of Ramadan. If you have a specific place in your house where you pray 5 times a day, put your Quran there, so that once you finish praying, you can read a bit of Quran. And you're going to be praying every day, so the Quran is right there. You just pick it up, you start reading. It doesn't matter where, you just leave your Quran somewhere where you know you will see it. I heard of one sister who actually put her Quran on her bedside table, because when she goes to bed, she will see the Quran there and she'll be like, it will alert her. That's her cue. She's like, oh, I haven't read any Quran today. Okay, let me just read a little before I go to bed. So use your environment to benefit you. Use all these techniques that are helping you and making it easy for you to do these things during Ramadan outside of Ramadan. So like I said, change your environment so that you can have those things that are easy access, like the Quran, close to you in your prayer space or your bedside table or some place that you're going to be at every single day. And then that'll make it easier for you to carry on that too. It depends on what it is that you're trying to do. And that brings me up to tip number 2. Choose wisely. For example, if you are praying like 20 extra rakat, like nafil salah every single day, which a lot of people are during Ramadan, it's unlikely that you're going to pray that many nafil salah outside of Ramadan. Of course, it's not considered tarawih when it's outside of Ramadan, but you can pray as much nafil as you want at any time of year. That is completely up to you. Unlikely that you will be able to do 20 though. So start small. Whatever it is that you want to maintain outside of Ramadan, start small. It's the small, consistent act that is most beloved to Allah. So whatever it is, even if it's 1 thing, 2 things, probably don't go more than 2 things. Just pick 2 things that you want to try and keep up with after Ramadan. Whether it is praying your salah on time, and set up a system to help you to do that. You know that maybe throughout the year you're praying late. Sometimes you might even be missing your salah. And during Ramadan, for that 30 days, you were solid. You prayed 5 times a day without missing a salah. You prayed on time. You know what that tells you? That tells you that you are capable. And if you are capable of doing it during those 30 days, you can do it outside of those 30 days. So set up a system. Set up rules for yourself so that you don't pray late or you don't miss your salah. I have a rule for myself during this Ramadan right now where I need to pray within that 30-minute period. So if Zohar time has just come in, I've got half an hour to make sure that I get to my prayer mat and that I pray my Zohar or whatever other prayer time of the day it is. That is a little rule that I set for myself because I was becoming slack with my salah. I would be praying late and I wouldn't be praying as much. Like I would just pray the fard or occasionally the sunnah. And my concentration started to lack because I wasn't giving it as much importance. So that's something I want to take outside of Ramadan, to be praying on time so that, and to be more focused in my prayer. That is my little 1% that I'm focusing on, that I want to take outside of Ramadan. And tip number 3 is to make it communal. What I mean by this is that during Ramadan, we as Muslims, we operate as an ummah, we are a community. And during Ramadan, you feel that sense of community more than any other time of the year, mostly because you're going to the masjid more, you're interacting with other people more, you're going to iftar at other people's houses, that kind of thing. So you feel more connected to the community, and it definitely does make it easier for people to fast during Ramadan because the rest of the community is doing it as well. Anyone who's tried to, especially if you're a female and you've tried to make up your fasts after Ramadan, and perhaps you're the only one who in the household who has to make up those fasts, it becomes very, very difficult for you to do it because you're the only person in the house who's trying to fast. So that alone tells you the effect of having a community, having people around you to make things easier. Now, obviously, this will depend on what it is that you're trying to achieve. But if it's something like charity, or a lot of us have these extra acts of kindness that we do during Ramadan, or we give charity. Make this like a communal occasion outside of Ramadan. Have it be a part of your family ritual, where you, on certain days, you will do something that will be a form of sadaqah, or, perhaps you will give more charity on a certain day. Make it something that you do as a family, because that will make it easier for you to keep up with it outside of Ramadan. If it's something as simple as you just going to Jannah as a family every week after Ramadan, or maybe every other week, for some of the sisters that might be hard for you with kids and whatnot. But pick one thing that you can do, that you can keep up with, and that your community or your family can help you to keep up with that. Because when you have the support of your community or your family, it 100% makes it easier for you. And for all my converts, that this is true. For all of you who have fasted literally by yourself because you don't know any other Muslims, the difficulty, how difficult that is, and how much easier it becomes once you have people around you who share the same values, who share the same ideals, who are doing the same thing as you. So try and use that tactic to your advantage outside of Ramadan as well. And of course, this will encourage other people to keep up with things themselves as well. If you're doing this as a communal thing, you will all benefit from it. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you have in the back of your mind a few things that you might be able to take with you once Ramadan is over, inshallah. And hopefully these tips will help you as well. I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.